Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to learn about land reforms. Land reforms were of mainly the pre-independence land reforms and post-independence land reforms. In this video, we are going to learn about the pre-independence land reforms. Let us start from understanding what is meant by land reforms. Land reforms are the laws and policies that have been made to change our land administration system. Land reforms can be considered as laws or policies that are made to change the land administration system. The main objective of land reform is to remove inequality, protect the rights of farmers, and increase agricultural productivity. Land reforms are those laws and policies which are made to remove inequality and protect the rights of farmers and increase the agricultural productivity. During the pre independence period, the British implemented different land tenure systems like Rightwari, Zamindari, Mahalwari. The farmers did not have the ownership of the lands they cultivated. During the British period, that is before 1947, when India was under the control of British, they have implemented various land tenure systems for the purpose of collecting land revenue from farmers. So the farmers did not have any ownership of the land they cultivated. The landlordship of the land lied with the zamindars, jagirdars, etc. So, though the farmers have cultivated the land, they did not have the ownership of the land. The ownership was vested with the zamindars, jagirdars. So these are the persons who act as an intermediary between the Britishers, that is the government, and the farmers. So these persons have the ownership over the land. These systems put excessive burden on the farmers, which led to tenant exploitation and inequality. So the zamindars and jagirdars, all these intermediaries have put excessive burden over the farmers, which led to tenant exploitation. That is, farmers used to be the tenants of that land where they have cultivated. These tenure system led to exploitation and inequality. So after India got independence, the new government implemented many reforms to end these old systems and improve land ownership. So after India got independence, the new Indian government have abolished all the land tenure systems and new rules and laws for the land administration and have ended the old systems to improve the land ownership. So let us understand from the pre-independence period. So how was the land reforms in the pre-independence period? The pre-independence land reforms refers to changes and systems introduced by the British in India before 1947 to manage land ownership and revenue collection. During the British time, the government was mainly focused on the collection of revenue. They did not focus on improving the lives of farmers. So, the main aim of the British government was only on revenue collection. For these purposes, they have created various land tenure systems. So, these land tenure system helped in maximizing the land revenue for the British government. So, they have exploited the farmers by creating various tenure systems and imposing high revenues on them. The major features of pre independence reforms were the introduction of land tenure systems such as the Zamindari system, Rightwari system, Mahalwari system, Jagirdari system, Inamdari system. So these are the five prominent land tenure systems during the pre independence reforms and the creation of intermediaries, and there was no security of tenure for farmers. So let us start from understanding the different land tenure systems. The first type of land tenure system is Zamindari system. The Zamindari system was introduced by the East India Company in 1793 under the Permanent Settlement, which was implemented by Lord Cornwallis to increase British revenue by creating a class of landlords who are called as zamindars. So, to increase the land revenue, that means the taxes or money arising out of the agriculture or land is called as the land revenue. So, for this purpose, the Britishers have implemented various land tenure systems. So one of the land tenure system is the Zamindari system. In this system, a class of landlords were implemented by the British, who are the class of landlords are called as Zamindars, who act as an intermediary between the government and the farmers. So the government appoints a person to for the purpose of collecting the revenue from farmers. So the farmers will pay taxes to the zamindars, and zamindars will in turn pay to the government. So this process of collecting the revenue is called as the zamindari system. Zamindars were declared full proprietors of large areas of land. So the government appointed zamindars for the purpose of collecting revenue from that land. Their role was to collect rent from cultivators and pay a fixed share 10 by 11th to the government. They retained the remaining 1/11th as remuneration. So from the total, the zamindars shall give 10 by 11th to the government, and the remaining 1 by 11th was taken as their remuneration. So this system was prevalent in West Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, and Madhya Pradesh. So in all these provinces or states, the Zamindari system was prevalent. Now let's understand the functions of Zamindars. Zamindars acted as intermediaries between cultivators and state. As I have said earlier, they act as an intermediary and they create a unique agrarian structure where landowners had rights over land without engaging in actual cultivation. So these persons, the zamindars, are the land owners. So the ownership lies with the zamindars. But they did not cultivate the land, and this system allowed unlimited rights to the zamindars, enabling exploitation of peasants. So there was no restrictions or rules on the zamindars on how much revenue shall be imposed or what shall be the rates of revenue was not prescribed. So they can collect as much as revenue as they want. So this led to the exploitation of peasants. So the next is the defects and exploitation in the zamindari system. The system allowed zamindars to extract as much rent as they wished. As I have said earlier, they can extract from the farmers as much as rents they wished for. So around 25% of the produce went to intermediaries as rent. So the rent is paid in the form of crops or produce. The agricultural produce which the farmers cultivate will be given as rent to the intermediaries. So around 25% of that produce is given to the intermediaries, which created a parasitic landlord class, leading to social injustice, lack of investment in agriculture, no surplus left to the cultivators, and no incentives for improving the productivity. So 25% was given to the intermediaries, and the farmers were left with no surplus, which led to the lack of investment in agriculture, and there was no incentives for improving the productivity. This all led to the downfall of the agriculture. So let us understand how was the impact on agricultural development. The system became a depressor, keeping rural areas stuck in low capital use and outdated methods. So as there was no revenue with the farmers, the investment in the agriculture was very low, and they were forced to use only outdated methods as there was no investment to implement any new technology. Cultivators had no interest in modernization, such as using better seeds or tools. Land became fragmented and production suffered. And as the zamindars became the landowners of huge portions of land, the land became fragmented and the production suffered. As the land was used inefficiently, it became fragmented and the production also decreased. So these were the defects in the zamindari system and their impact on agricultural development. So the next type of land tenure system is the Mahalwari system. The Mahalwari system was introduced by William Bentinck in the regions of Agra and Aodh. Later, it was extended to Madhya Pradesh and Punjab. So, Agra and Aodh are cities in the Uttar Pradesh. Later, it was extended to Madhya Pradesh and Punjab. So, the Mahalwari system is also a type of land tenure system which was introduced by William Bentinck. In this system, the entire village was treated as a single unit or mahal. for the purpose of land revenue payment. So, unlike the Zamindar system, where large portion of lands were given to the zamindars for the purpose of collecting the land revenue, in this system, an entire village is considered as one single unit or mahal. So, the land or the village is called as mahal, and an entire village shall pay the land revenue collectively. So, according to Congress Land Reforms Committee, land ownership under the Mahalwari system was considered collective rather than individual. The entire village shall pay the revenue collectively. The task of collecting land revenue and paying to the treasury was assigned to the village headman. So, in Zamindari system, Zamindars were appointed as intermediaries. In Mahalwari system, the intermediaries are called as village headman. So, for a particular village or the entire village, a headman is appointed for the purpose of collecting the revenue. The drawbacks of Mahalwari system are the village headmen sometimes became mini zamindars exploiting poor farmers by imposing unrealistically high revenue. The fragmentation of holdings and poor land records are made administration difficult. So, the drawbacks are similar to that of the Zamindari system, where sometimes the village headmans became mini Zamindars and exploited the farmers by imposing high revenues. And there was no proper maintenance of land records, so which made the administration of land difficult. Like other system, it did not encourage investment in agriculture. There was no utilization of modern systems or investment in the agriculture. So this is about the Zamindari system and Mahalwari system in the land tenure system. The other types of systems, that is the Jagirdars, Inamdars, and Rightwari system, I'll explain in the next video. That's all for this class. I hope you all have understood it. Thank you.